I'm going to take a shot on this one.
I'm going to say beer. I'm buying everybody around on this. Oh, my God.
All right, guys. So we're going to try to be quick because we know we got John in another state right now. The Islanders can win this series with their offense. Anthony, we got to go to the resident Islander guy.
I mean, it's not their forte. Usually they win with, with their defense and goaltending. But again, like I referenced plenty of times, they're deep. They do have a lot of guys that are capable of scoring. So I'm not going to go round, but I will go beer. Barzal, the way he skates around and makes defensemen chase him and stops on a dime, if other players get open for him, that creates a lot of offense. Eberle was deadly against the Pittsburgh Penguins in 18-19. Nelson was great against them in 18-19. Those guys can both score. Pajot had a great playoffs last year in the bubble. He could score. Then you add in Wallstrom. He could score. Beuvillier is red hot right now. So, yeah, they have a lot of guys that could score and really hurt you. And the common denominator is all of them are fast. All of them can skate. If the Penguins get loose defensively at all, or if if the Islanders kind of stifle them enough and they start forcing plays and the Islanders capitalize and go off the rush and transition, they can hurt you that way. So, again, it's not their forte, but they are capable of doing it. So I'm going to go beer.
Phil.
I'm struggling a little bit with the way that you're asking this question. So are you saying that their offense is going to be the reason that they're going to win this series, or that if it...
as in like they can win a high scoring series?
I don't want to say shot, but I also don't want to say beer, because that's not what's going to win them this series. It's really not. And if they get into a high-scoring affair, I'm going to say beer, because I'm really kind of like it's one of those in-the-middle type things where between shot and beer, because like I said, the Islanders aren't going to win this series because of their offense. They're going to win it because they play Barrett Trotz hockey, and they're going to win it because of the fact that they're going to stifle the Penguins, and the goaltending and the defense are going to make the difference. If this gets into a high-scoring series, I don't see the Islanders winning this. I really don't. If it gets into one of those run-and-gun type games where everything is a 4-3, 5-4 type game, I think Pittsburgh just has such a great advantage there and the Islanders just don't have the top end offensive talent to keep up with them if it becomes that. So I'm gonna say beer, but I'm leaning towards shot.
I'm gonna say shot because I don't think that's the Islanders hockey. They're not gonna win an offensive series. They might have timely goals, just like you said, Anthony, and they might actually have a game where they end up running Pittsburgh out of the barn, sort of like earlier this season. They did that against Boston. I think it was a 1-1 game, and they exploded for 5 goals against Yaroslav Halak. I don't see them doing that to Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh's going to be too good for that. So, and if you're relying on an offensive battle against Sidney Crosby, you're playing with fire. So no, I'm going to say absolutely shot once again. The New York Rangers will make a big splash this offseason. John.
I'm buying everybody around on this. Come on, man. What do you guys do? Are we drinking already at 1:30 here? Are we doing a little day drinking? Because this is definitely buying everybody around. I predicted 3 things were going to happen, and I'm pretty sure you probably both saw it on my Twitter. I said the first thing was that Quinn was going. That was a given after the whole Davidson thing. I said that when we were live streaming last week. The second thing I said was that Jack Eichel was happening, because you guys remember during the Dark Ages, Big Splash James, a.k.a. James Dolan, was the big splash guy. He wanted Lindros. He got Lindros. He wanted Yager. He got Yager. He wanted Bure. He got Bure. I mean, he wanted all the big names. So Jack Eichel will be a Ranger. It's just a matter of when and who he comes for, especially after Eichel's comments. Oh, and what I was trying to look for before on my laptop when I was looking over the other way, I got a notification that popped down on my phone from the Athletic saying that Kevin Adams was concerned about Jack Eichel wanting to have a surgery that had never been performed before. So this is just another wrinkle in the whole, I call it the Eric Lindros Part 2 saga. Remember how Bobby Clark questioned how Eric Lindros was, or said Eric Lindros was weak because of the concussions? It's happening all over again, but in Buffalo with Eichel. They're questioning him. They're at odds with the medical staff. I mean, it's become public. He's out. Jack Eichel's out. It's just, like I said, a matter of when. I think draft night it could happen by, because I think Buffalo would want to get a first rounder and be able to make their own pick with that first rounder. So that's the next thing that's going to happen. The third thing I said that was going to happen was the Rangers were going to go and they were going to get some sort of form of grit. And I've mentioned him before. I mentioned these two guys before, I think, on here. Casey Cizikas and Sean Corrali are going to be big-time targets for the Rangers. I think Casey Cizikas would be exactly what the Rangers need. I know some Ranger fans might roll their eyes at Casey Cizikas just because he's an Islander, or we don't like this guy. Yeah, I know. But he's exactly what the Rangers need. He wins faceoffs. He skates well. He plays hard. He's tough to play against. He's a good defensive guy. He's a penalty killer, especially if someone like Pavel Buchnevich goes in that deal for Jack Eichel, which I think is going to have to happen because they're going to have salary go back the other way. Casey Cizikas would be a guy that could take his place in a penalty kill, and the penalty kill might even be better, actually. No offense to Buchnevich, who's turned himself into a very good penalty killer. But I think we're in for a big, exciting offseason if you're a Ranger fan. So buying everybody around.
And you know what? I got to buy everybody around on that one too, because it's going to be Jack Eichel, or it's going to be some other huge move. And it's because they got the bullets and gun too. They can make a trade and still have plenty of prospects left over. I'm afraid of trading the wrong prospect because I don't want to get rid of a Nils Lundqvist. I understand you got to give up something for something. It's not going to be Alexander Barkov. I would love it to be Alexander Barkov more than Jack Eichel. But Jack Eichel also is going to come with a $10 million price tag and a bad neck. Last I checked, a bad neck is not a good thing. So Buffalo better lower their asking price. So that's what I just got to say about that. Again, though, there's definitely something in the works. He wants his team to make a jump, buy everybody around. John first before we get back to Anthony.
One thing that happened with the whole the neck injury thing, just relating to that. Last year, obviously last summer, the Rangers and the Sabres had some significant talks about Eichel. Elliot Friedman actually recently reported that the deal did not involve a first rounder, because I believe at the time that they were having talks, the Rangers had already won the lottery. So I'm assuming this was the offseason, so the Rangers had already won the lottery. And it was an offer that made Buffalo seriously think about moving Eichel, but they were not ready to move him yet. So I'd imagine that whatever that deal was is probably not on the table anymore, especially after Eichel's comments and his neck injury. So Buffalo will definitely have to offer lower their asking price to get a deal done.
Anthony.
Well, first I'm going to say I'll cry tears of sadness if I see Cizikas in a Ranger jersey, just because, I love everything he brings to the table. And I hope that Lou has a kind of under-the-table handshake deal like he did with Matt Martin last offseason, or we're bringing you back to sort out our cap situation. But as for this question, I'm going to go round. I think Drury wants to put his stamp on this team. The Rangers have some flaws that they need to fix, and I think he's going to go out and make some changes. With that said, I'm not sold on it being Eichel. I think they're going to get a big name, and the reason why I say that is a couple of reasons. One, if let's just say everyone, it is true that the Sabres aren't going to get like a star like Byfield or Lafreniere or Zegras in return for Eichel. So in that regard, if they are going to get an underwhelming package, why would they choose the Rangers package and trade him in conference when he doesn't have a say yet of what team he's going to want to play for? Especially where they don't really seem to like each other right now, so it would almost be like they're doing him a favor by sending him to the Rangers. So that's why I think that, if that's going to be the case, why not just trade him out west? And then the other thing is with the Rangers, if they aren't going to trade him Lafreniere or even Kakko, Strome shouldn't have any value for them because, he puts up the numbers when he plays with good talents. Who is he going to put those numbers playing with in Buffalo? Reinhart made comments that he wants out too. So Strome going to Buffalo, he's going to revert back to what he was at the end of his Islanders career or with the Oilers. And then with the other option, which I don't think would happen, but just for intensive purposes, let's say it, Buffalo wants a center. Okay, well, what happens if the Rangers would agree to trade Zibabanejad? Why would Buffalo take Zibabanejad when he's 1 year away from free agency and probably wouldn't stay anyway? So it could happen, and I know the Rangers are very well going to be involved in it. I'm just not sure if it's going to be Eichel, but I will say with confidence, I do think he's going to make a big move.
Okay, so then here's my counter to that. Then you got to name me the teams that can put together an actual package that will have realistically available assets to get Eichel. 2, you have to list me the teams that are at the point in the time where their trajectory lines up for them to be able to make the deal and have the willingness to make the deal for Eichel. 3, you've got to name the list of teams that are going to be able to afford him cap-wise. So how many teams actually fit that? Because everybody's talking about, every team is going to have interest in Eichel and every team is going to kick the tires. Yes, of course, every team is going to kick the tires. 30 to 31 teams will kick the tires. I don't even know if Seattle will do so yet because they still haven't even gotten off the ground at this point. But
well, it couldn't be 32 because one of them is the Sabres.
30, 31. Did I say 32?
No. I was just adding one more. I'm like,
I thought
Sabres,
it said 30 for a second.
which, by the way, is going to lead into the next question in a second. Finish your point, John.
But that's the thing, though. Like, how can you have a whole bunch of teams and then you have 31 teams that could show interest, but then you're narrowing it down to how many after you consider those 3 factors. So how many teams are realistically going to be available? San Jose, you're talking West. San Jose not going to have a package. Anaheim's not going to do it yet because Anaheim, 1, they don't have amazing prospect depth, and 2, a lot of their prospects have already graduated to the NHL level. So who are they sending? They're not sending Zegras. You think that they would send Zegras for Eichel? No. Absolutely not. Not especially after the neck injury. No one's going to want to send their top prospects like that. And I have a real hard time believing that LA is in this, considering that their core is aging. 2, they're not far enough along in their rebuild yet. And 3, they're kind of saddled down by big contracts for guys like Kopitar, Dustin Brown, and so on. And Drew Doughty. So I don't. Where do they get the resources to do this? I mean, I get they have prospects to do it, but again, you got to worry about cap, not just now, but in a couple of years from now too, when you have other contracts that you have to fill out. So I don't know. I see the Rangers as the odds-on front runner, and I don't see a lot of teams that would be realistically involved in serious talks, especially after that neck injury. So.
Well, that leads into the question that originally I had on the rundown, and I made the joke about a 32nd team. But the 32nd team would be Buffalo to say, can they fix the Jack Eichel situation? All right, and I'm gonna go with you first, John. Is this situation even fixable?
No, this is absolutely not. This is a shot. It's beyond repair. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the last time that someone went this public with a medical issue like this, and there's been odds between a team and a player on a subject like this, it was Eric Lindros. And we all know what happened with Eric Lindros. He sat out for a season, and then he was traded to the Rangers for an underwhelming return that was actually also the same exact return that was offered to Pittsburgh for Jaromir Jagr in the summer of 2001, which Craig Patrick turned down last minute and took a lesser package for whatever reason. But that's neither here nor there. So this situation, the bridge has been burned. It's burned. Eichel has no faith in their medical staff. The GM is now publicly saying that he wants a procedure that's never been done. He's taking the side of the organization instead of saying that, instead of just stepping in and saying, hey, we'll handle this internally. You guys don't worry about it. I mean, it's at the point where everything's out. The cat's out of the bag. It's out in the open. it's not repairable, and it's better for both sides that he's traded sooner than later. So, like I said, I could see it as early as the entry draft. There is no way that this situation is being prepared. He's gone.
Anthony.
It's a shot for me too. Just even aside from the medical issues that Phil mentioned that are absolutely true, he also stated he's tired of losing and taking a toll on him. And it's a situation where he feels like he's going to start wasting the majority of his career if he stays in Buffalo. They made an effort with Taylor Hall and to get him to it, but it didn't work out. That blew up. And then the quote he said, he said at this point he's going to focus on himself and get ready to play wherever that may be. So he knows he's going to be traded, or at least he hopes he's going to be traded. But I don't see it being fixed at all. I think, and he still hasn't publicly asked for a trade. But I guarantee he probably did behind closed doors. He wants out, and it's probably better off if all parties just move on at this point. But no, yeah, it's not fixable. Not even close.
When I wrote this question down for the rundown, it was before the news that came out this week. It's a shot. It's actually several shots. And for the people of Buffalo, you might have to chug a bottle right now. It's terrible because once it became a medical problem, once it became that the Sabres were denying him the ability to go get surgery. You wish it was a broken bone, except not a vertebrae, of course. I'm just saying, you wish it was a broken bone. Broken bones heal. When it comes to back and neck and stuff, I'm nervous about investing that much money in a player, and that's why I'm nervous about the New York Rangers entertaining a trade. When a guy, if I ever hear a guy's got a bad back or a bad neck, my eyebrows go way up. I mean, worse than they went down when I was frowning looking at the firing news last week. So this isn't what's going to happen. Quickly, guys, sorry, Anthony first.
So it's not just him. I think even Sam Reinhart's comments. It seems like he's done too. He doesn't want to be there anymore. And even Rasmus Ristolainen said that he's okay with being traded. I think Buffalo's they're in a bad spot right now because people don't want to play there. It's taking their toll, especially guys like Reinhart, who has been there for a while. Yeah, sure, they got Dylan Cozens and Rasmus Dahlin, but they're in a bad way. And just quickly, I thought about this, and we'll talk about Ranger moves next week. You said personnel, but watch out for Kuznetsov on Washington because there's been rumored that Washington may move on for him. And if the Rangers can't get Eichel, I think Kuznetsov is a good alternative for the Rangers. It might cost less, and he's a good hockey player. So he's
old or somebody younger.
Yeah, and I kind of don't like that he hasn't been healthy for a full season.
The bird celebration.
Yeah, the bird. Yeah. Anthony, I'm going to start with you. What are your East predictions for the first round?
So that was the last bar talk topic? I thought you had more.
No, that was the last of this division. We're still doing.
Okay, sorry.
We still got a couple more.
So yeah, Washington over Boston in 7, and then as we already talked about the Islanders. Or if you want me to include the Central too, you consider that the East still?
No, we're gonna do that when we go to the next one.
All right.
Like I said, we're gonna do that between each division.
Yeah.
I know it was an hour and a half ago when I said that, but it's still there. John, what's your prediction?
I'm gonna, like I said, I had Islanders in 6. I'm going Washington in 6 as well.
And I see a lot of black and yellow in the second round, or black and gold. It's going to be Pittsburgh and the Bruins for the first time since 2013. I just don't have my faith in Washington right now. I don't know how the health of their players are. If Ovechkin, I know he played last night, if he's 100% again, or Backstrom, and I don't have faith in the goaltending. But the East could be any combination of any 4 teams. and in any amount of games, except for sweeps. I just don't see a sweep in this division. We're going to keep that in mind as we move on to the next topic.
Did you like that video? Of course you did. So why not check out some more of our content? You can check the playlist right here or right here.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.